Paul George is officially a member of the Philadelphia 76ers. DeJounte Murray is a Pelican, and Mikal Bridges is a New York Knick. We will be discussing all of this and more in this week's weekly recap. 4 years, $212 million for Paul George as he gets the max contract he was seeking. Landing in Philly is not surprising to many of us, as many suspected this would happen as soon as the Clippers lost. Philly needed to add a third scorer to take pressure off Embiid and Maxey, specifically in the postseason, and that is exactly what they did here. PG is also a good defender, and without the pressure of being the go-to on the offensive end, PG can really lock in and lock up on defense. On paper, this move is great for both sides. However, Paul George and Joel Embiid as a reliable duo is just not optimal given their health concerns and playoff performances. Luckily, Tyrese Maxey is not, and is slowly taking the reins as the main character in Philly. Speaking of Maxey, he signed a 5-year, $204 million contract extension. This is honestly an underpay given what he did last year, but if it allows the 76ers to keep adding in free agency, it is perfect. Unlike Paul George, James Harden is staying in Los Angeles with the Clippers as he signed a 2-year, $70 million contract extension. If the Clippers lost him for nothing as well, the franchise would have to shut down, but luckily for them, they got him back. Losing PG for nothing, though, makes the infamous PG trade the worst in NBA history. Realistically, the best route the Clippers could have taken was a sign and trade of some sorts, and that looks like the option the Warriors are going to use for Klay Thompson, as we officially got word that he will not be a Warrior next year. The 76ers, Magic, Clippers, and Lakers are all in the mix for Klay. Klay is also willing to take a pay cut to join the Lakers, which would be interesting. Andrew Wiggins is still on the trade block for Golden State, and he may potentially be traded to the Bucks. Depending on the return, I think it would be a phenomenal move if it goes down. Unfortunately for the Warriors, they ended up having to waive CP3 after being unable to find a trade partner. But hey, CP3 signed shortly after with the Spurs for a 1-year, $11 million contract. CP3 was my favorite player growing up and is still in the top 2, so I love this move for him and my fandom. My current favorite player, De'Aaron Fox, is apparently holding out on signing a contract extension until he sees how the Kings roster is going to shape up. I would expect him to eventually sign an extension and is probably only saying this to force pressure on the Kings front office. And rightfully so, they have not done much since the Sabonis trade. After it being mocked for so long, DeJounte Murray is finally a New Orleans Pelican and will be the new starting point guard the team desperately needed for the future. New Orleans will allow him to play as the lead ball handler, a role his play style excels in, and playing in the backcourt next to CJ McCollum allows McCollum to play off the ball without the worry of size in the backcourt. The Hawks did well by acquiring future firsts in addition to Dyson Daniels and Larry Nance Jr., who has value to many contenders. I wonder what this will do for Brandon Ingram trade talks, whether it will push the Pelicans closer to trading him or trying to keep him. In my opinion, he needs to be moved because he is a player that has not seemed to thrive well off the ball, and with DeJounte Murray and CJ McCollum being primary ball handlers, combined with Zion being the number 1 option, Ingram does not fit well with the new-look Pelicans. 3 teams are closely watching the situation, and those teams are the Cavs, Hawks, and Kings. Sacramento is the most aggressive in the pursuit, but it is clear the Brandon Ingram drama is just getting started. The Nets and Knicks made an insane trade this week, as the Nets acquired Bojan Bogdanovic and 5 first-round draft picks along with a few pick swaps in exchange for Mikal Bridges. The Nets finally did something productive and are committed to a well-overdue rebuild. They got the perfect amount of assets needed to start it, and the Knicks added a perfect complementary piece to a team that is arguably the second best team in the East behind the Celtics. The only question I had about this trade was whether they would retain OG after he declined his player option, and they got him back on a 5-year, $212 million contract. Absurd. If the Knicks are fully healthy, they would be the team I fear the most in the NBA, given the grit and grind nature of the team, combined with the elite defenders they have. No matter the issues they have on offense, which are bound to happen, this defense is going to be unreal, especially in the postseason. The only bad thing for the Knicks this week is that they lost Isaiah Hartenstein to the OKC Thunder. Isaiah Hartenstein signed a 3-year, $87 million contract to be the new size and strength that is much needed for a Thunder team that really struggled with size all season long. With the addition of Caruso and Hartenstein this offseason, I can say that the Thunder are in fact the team to beat in the West, and the distance between them and the rest of the pack is growing more and more as the other teams in the West are not doing that much this offseason. If I were to make a playoff bracket right now, I would have the Knicks and Thunder going all the way and making it to the finals matching up against each other, since both of them have been the biggest winners of the offseason. The Timberwolves extended their head coach Chris Finch until the 2028 NBA season. Former Cavs coach J.B. Bickerstaff is now the coach of the Pistons, in case you missed that. And speaking of the Cavaliers, they hired former Brooklyn Nets head coach Kenny Atkinson as their new coach. And that wasn't even the biggest thing to come out of Cleveland, because the headlining rumor was that the contract extension they intend to offer to Donovan Mitchell is going to be totaled at $209 million. I would expect it to be 4 years, totaled out to about $52 million a year. Management is also confident that Mitchell will sign it, so I immediately think about Darius Garland's future with the Cavs, as he has obviously been rumored to be moving if Mitchell stays. I think he'll have to request a trade in order to be traded, and I honestly think we will see it happen. Young players were getting paid, so here are a few contracts that you might have missed. This year, we started with Scotty Barnes, who intends to sign a massive 5-year deal worth $270 million. Bam Adebayo is getting 3 years for $166 million. Nick Claxton was overpaid by the Nets, so we knew this contract was happening before it happened. He got 4 years, $100 million. The Nuggets and Jamal Murray are working toward a 4-year, $209 million extension this offseason. Emmanuel Quickley is getting the bag he wanted, as the Raptors will be giving him a 5-year, $175 million contract. Detroit is giving Cade Cunningham a huge payday, as he will be getting $226 million over 5 years. Patrick Williams is staying in Chicago on a 5-year deal worth $90 million. And Obi Toppin is signing a 4-year, $60 million deal to stay in Indiana. We do have a few more trades to discuss before free agent signings. The first trade I want to discuss was a draft night trade that I want to quickly touch on. It is the Denny Avdija trade for the Blazers. What a steal this was for Portland. Denny was arguably the best player for the Wizards last year, and he is going to complement the young Blazers team perfectly at the wing position. Confusing trade on the Wizards side, as they should have traded Kuzma instead. And normally I would go off on a trade like this, but their draft was so good that I am going to let it slide despite my disappointment. Reggie Jackson was traded to Charlotte, and Tim Hardaway Jr. is now a Detroit Piston, while the Mavs added Quentin Grimes, which is a sneakily good addition. This Friday, I'll be talking about every free agent move of the week, but for now, I got a few that I want to touch on. KCP is heading to Orlando for a massive 3-year, $66 million contract. Congratulations to him. Great veteran role player to have in Orlando, and it is a great move for both sides. A weird move was Jonas Valanciunas heading to Washington. I don't know why he wanted to go there outside of the money, but this is good for him because he'll play a lot, but the Wizards are definitely using him as trade bait. The 76ers re-signed Kelly Oubre and added Andre Drummond and Eric Gordon. And Derrick Jones Jr. signed a 3-year, $30 million contract with the Clippers, which was a surprise. And that is going to conclude this week's episode of In Case You Missed It, our weekly recap where we recap everything. Definitely a hectic recap, but next week we're probably going to be discussing some more rumors and my personal takes on them. Maybe we'll have a lot more trades and know where every free agent is headed. But yeah, this Friday we will be grading and ranking every single free agent move of the week. So yeah, y'all make sure to subscribe. If you want to watch a different video on this channel, well, there's one on the screen. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you enjoyed the content. Turn on post notifications. Have a good one. Stay safe. Bye.